Hello, I'm Cheryl with Yoga for You. I'm a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist, and I instruct Hatha Yoga for the city of Coquitlam at their Poirier and Victoria Hall locations. Today we're going to do a Hatha Yoga practice. The word yoga means to yoke, to connect the mind to the body. So when we're practicing yoga, we need to keep bringing our minds back to the body so we can feel during and after the practice. We're going to start by connecting to the breath. We'll get started, okay? We'll find our seated posture, rock a little bit from side to side, finding our sit bones, allowing our spines to be nice and tall, the imaginary string pulling us up from the top of the head, and we'll relax our shoulders. Let's close our eyes for a few moments. And in yoga, we like to breathe through the nostrils. So bring your mind and awareness to that space below the nostrils, above the upper lip, where you witness and observe the breath as it falls into the nostrils and falls out of the nostrils. Now, if your mind wanders, and the mind will wander, the moment you notice it has wandered, bring it back to the nostrils, back to the breath, back to where you are right now, here, in this moment. Keep bringing your mind back to the nostrils, back to the breath, and observe and witness the breath as it falls in and falls out. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing your face, relaxing the arms, your hands. And notice how that brings you into the present moment, to where you are right now, here, in this moment. We try to leave everything else behind, all the busyness of our lives, everything that we're dealing with right now. Imagine that it's no longer part of your life at this moment. You're in your room and on your mat and with your breath, leaving everything else behind, giving yourself a break for the time that we're together. The breath can calm your nervous system and can keep you in the present moment. Now, if you like, we'll open our eyes. We'll start rolling our shoulders forward and up and back and down, forward and up and back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. This will bring blood flow into your neck and shoulders. It helps you if you've been using the computer too much, or if your neck is sore, shoulders. So again, if it doesn't feel right, stop or make the movement smaller. And you can stop at any time. If I'm doing too many movements, you can stop and wait for me to finish. And then when you do finish, close your eyes for a moment and feel the energy and sensations in your neck and shoulders. Then we'll bring the chin down to the chest, feeling the stretch down our back. Keep your shoulders relaxed and stay focused on the breath. We'll take the chin over to the right, as though you're looking at your right armpit. And then we'll bring the chin back to the center and then to the left, as though you're looking at your left armpit. Keep coming back to the breath. we'll bring the chin back to the center. We're going to do that one more time. So the chin is on your chest. You're going to take the chin to the right. Connect to your breath and notice where the stretch is, where the tightness is. You take the chin to the center and then to the left. And again, notice, did the area of the tightness move? Where is it now? And then we'll bring the chin back to the chest. And slowly bringing the head back to neutral. Notice how that feels. Another way to alleviate shoulder and neck pain is to bring your shoulders up around your ears and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And then release. We'll do that 3 times. Lifting the shoulders up around the ears, holding it and holding it and holding it, squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, and then release. One more time. Lifting the shoulders up. So what's happening is we're contracting the muscles, and it's when we release that they relax. And release. Just close your eyes for a moment and feel. Notice how your shoulders feel different or your neck feels different. So we're going to put our hands on our knees and we're going to make a big circle with our upper body. We can roll onto one side of our pelvis and onto the other side of the pelvis. This helps the lower back and improves your digestion. Be aware of your breath. And let's go the other way. Circling. This is my dog Sophie. Circling. And then coming back to the center. Just notice how that feels. We'll put the left hand on the floor beside us. We'll take the right arm alongside the right ear. Shoulder blade is down the back rather than lifting up. And we'll slide the left hand along the floor to give us a nice side stretch. Feel the side stretch along the right side. Don't let your pelvis lift off the floor. Keep both sides of your pelvis on the floor. Inhale up and exhale down. Right hand on the floor. Left arm alongside the ear, shoulder blade down the back. We'll slide the right hand along the floor, keeping the left side of our pelvis on the floor. Open up your fingers, just gently, lots of energy in your fingers. And think about the position of your head. You don't want to be hanging your head back or hanging it forward. Try to keep it in a neutral position. Inhale up. And exhale down. We'll do a nice gentle twist. So finding that you're sitting on both of your sit bones, that you're not leaning over to one side. You want to sit on them equally. And then when we do a gentle twist, we keep our shoulder blades down, keep our head neutral. We inhale as we come out, and we exhale as we turn to the other side. Keeping the shoulder blades down, that imaginary string pulling you up from the top of your head. Inhale as you come to the center, exhale as you twist. You can stay in these poses and breathe, or you can come out of them if it's not comfortable. You need to listen to your body as you practice yoga. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll come back to the center. So now we're going to extend our legs. And if you're going to support yourself, don't lean back. Just stay nice and tall. Your hands can be behind you if you like. And your feet are flexed, your toes pointing up to the ceiling. We're going to pull the toes towards us, stretching the backs of the legs. And then we're going to point the toes away from us, stretching the fronts of the feet. You can try to spread your toes when you flex your feet and point. Flexing and pointing. And when we're finished that, we're going to make a big circle with our feet. Notice how my feet are not touching, and notice how I'm going in a big circle right over to the side so that the ankles get a wonderful movement. And let's go the other way. Be aware of your breath. Good. And we'll come back to the center. I'm going to do a hip warm-up. I'm going to slide the left heel up towards the pelvis. The knee goes out to the side. I'm going to take both hands and lift the foot up, placing one hand under the heel and one hand under the lower leg. You bring that foot up towards you. And again, try not to slouch. Lift yourself up nice and tall, and just see how high that foot comes towards you, because you can compare the other side. And then holding the foot like this, we're going to take it from left to right. Notice how tight or loose your hips are. It's warming up the hip joint, the hip socket. And then we'll come back to the center, and keeping this foot flexed, see if you can place it on top of the right thigh. Now if that's difficult, then slide it down the leg to make it easier, or place it on the floor. This can give you a good indication of how tight your hips are. If your knee is really, really high, that would suggest you have some tightness in your hips. So we can sit like this with a nice flexed foot, nice straight line in the inner edge of the foot, sitting up nice and tall. And for those of you that are more flexible, you can lean forward. You bend from the top of the leg, from the hips. So we're leaning forward with a nice straight spine. We're not rounding our backs, trying to keep our spines straight. And then we can come up and extend that leg, and we'll go to the other side. Slide the right heel up. The knee goes out to the side, both hands, scooping up the leg, one hand under the heel, the other hand under the shin. Keep this foot flexed if you can. And notice, did this foot come closer to your torso, or is it further away or lower? And then we'll take the leg from left to right. Noticing if there's pain, then you may want to stop, or you may want to make the movement smaller. See if you have more mobility on this side than the left. And that's a nice way to warm up your hip joints. And coming back to the center and lowering that foot down. Good. Okay, so now we'll go on to our hands and knees. I call this the table pose. So if you're not comfortable on your knees, you can put some padding under your knees, a blanket, some blocks. And if your hands are uncomfortable, you can slide your hands away from you. Okay, so in the table position, your back is nice and flat, but we want to start rotating our pelvis in the dog tilt and then into the cat tilt. We inhale as we lift the pelvis up into the dog tilt, and we exhale as we tuck the tailbone into the cat tilt. Inhale, lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling, the chest lifts, and then the head lifts. And as you exhale, you tuck the tailbone under, the lower back rounds, mid back, upper back, and then chin to the chest. Inhale to the dog tilt. Exhale into the cat tilt. One more time. And then we'll go into our child's pose. We'll take our knees wider than our hips, push ourselves back, and let's keep our elbows off the floor. Spread your fingers wide open. And then we're going to walk our hands over to the right. Keep the elbows off the floor. Keep the head alongside the arms. And feel the stretch along the side of the body. And we're going to take the hands over to the other side. You might not be able to see my hands, but you'll know what I'm doing. Take the hands over to the left. Keep the elbows off the floor, and your hands are about shoulder width apart. There's a nice stretch along the side of the body. Keep coming back to the breath. And we'll walk our hands back to the center. Coming back to the table pose, we'll bring the knees under the hips. We'll do a core strengthening. We'll slide the right hand and the left foot away from each other, and then we'll raise the arm and the leg up to the level of the torso. Keep breathing, and then slowly bring the hand and foot to the floor and slide them back into the table pose. Let's try the other side. Slide the left hand and the right foot away from each other, then raise them up to the level of the torso. They don't have to go higher than the torso. When you're holding the position, see if you can relax the arm and the leg that you've lifted, and see if you can move them away from each other. Let's try that one more time. The hand and the foot slide away, the arm and the leg lift up. You relax and breathe. Lift your abdominal muscles up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing and moving the arm and the leg away from each other. Core strengthening. You don't have to lift your head. You can look down at the floor. Now, for those of you who are more advanced and want something a little more challenging, slide the hand and the foot away from each other. Go into this first position. Bend the knee, flexing the foot up to the ceiling, and reach back and grab the foot. And then lifting your torso and lifting the foot up towards the ceiling. Just be careful and don't try this if you know that it's too much for you. And don't just drop and collapse your foot. Let it go mindfully and bring the hand and foot to the floor. Let's try the other side. Sliding the hand and foot away from each other, raising the arm and leg. So stop here if you know that the next step is too difficult. Bend the back leg, reach back, grabbing the foot. Keep yourself lifted, don't collapse. Look up just a little bit with your eyes, lifting your chest, lifting the foot. Slowly coming back. Taking your knees wide and pressing back into the child's pose. This time we'll bend our elbows and rest the forehead on our hands. Connecting to the breath. We'll do the downward dog from here, one of yoga's most popular poses. So I teach it by starting in the child's pose, extending the arms, spreading the fingers wide open. And then keep your hands in this position, don't slide them down the mat. So we come up onto the hands and knees, bring the knees under the hips, do a dog tilt with your pelvis, tuck the toes under, You can push yourself back like a child's pose and look at your knees, and then lift your knees off the mat, and you're in your downward dog. We don't want to have any weight on we don't want to have a lot of weight on our hands. So often students will be in this kind of position. That's very dangerous for the wrists and the shoulders. You need to look at your feet and your legs and move yourself towards your legs, lifting the pelvis up to the ceiling. Don't worry about the heels touching the floor. That will come in time. You can slowly press the heels down towards the floor, or you can gravitate both heels towards the floor as you lift your sit bones up. When you need to come down, mindfully bring your knees to the mat. You can take the knees wider than the hips and go back into a child's pose, giving your arms a break. Connecting to the breath. Now, many students in my class have issues with their shoulders and they can't sustain a downward dog. So here's an option. It's called the dolphin. We set ourselves up by bending the elbows and finding our width. And then we interlace our fingers. We're going to keep the hands and arms on the floor. We can come up, bring our knees under our hips. We're in a table pose, but with our arms in this different position. We tuck our toes, knees come off the mat, and now we're in the dolphin. So the pressure is off of our wrists. It's a little more pressure for the shoulders. My head is off the floor. So if this is good for you, when you finish, you can bring the knees to the mat. For those of you who want more, you can do the swimming dolphin, when your face goes past your hands and back into the dolphin. The swimming dolphin for upper body strength. Knees wide, and always taking a rest in the child's pose when you're finished. We're going to come to a standing position now. We're going to tuck our toes and have our hands wider than our knees. Take our knees off the floor and come and stand up. Now we're standing in Tadasana, the standing mountain pose, where you need to have nice straight lines in the inner edges of your feet and your arms down beside you, nice and relaxed. And the imaginary string pulling you up from the top of your head so that you're not slouched. Just take a moment to notice the weight in your feet and shift your body onto your toes, or I should say shift your weight onto your toes, shift your weight back onto your heels, back and forth for a few moments until you can find the center point. So you're balanced on your feet. You're not favoring the fronts or the backs of your feet. We'll do a little warm up for our knees. We'll circle our knees. Always look after your knees. Don't cause pain to your knees. And let's go the other way. And coming back to the center. And we'll take our feet a little bit wider. Hands on the pelvis, and we're going to circle the pelvis. This is a nice movement for the hips. And we'll go the other way. And we'll come back to the center. Doing some leg strengthening, we can take our feet a little bit wider and we can start to bend our knees over the center of the feet. We could take our opposite hand to the knee, nice and slow. To make it yoga, we add the breathing. We inhale as we come up and exhale as we go down. Inhaling up exhaling down. Inhaling as you come up and exhale going down. For those of you who want to do more, we would take the hand to the floor. Inhaling up and exhaling down. So you choose between the easier version or the more challenging. And choose as many as you like to do. You could do a little bit of both. And then we'll come back to the center. Take your feet just a little bit closer so you can make a little squat or a plie. Inhale up and exhale. Make sure the knees are lining up over the center of the feet. We can bring our hands to the heart center, and as you bend the knees, we'll reach the arms up and out. And up and out. One more time. Up and out. And now we'll stay here. Freeing our toes, relaxing our shoulders, hands at the heart center. Noticing our breath. We'll try to lift one heel off the floor, place it down, and then lift the other heel off the floor and place it down. And then try both heels off the floor and back down. And then coming up, bringing the feet back into the center. Good. We'll do a little bit of side stretching here, taking the right arm alongside the right ear and tipping over to the side. Just showing you that you can stretch seated or standing. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhale and exhale. You can hold this and breathe, or you can go in and out of the posture right away. And back down. Taking your feet a little wider, we'll do a twist for our spine, allowing the heels of our feet to come off the floor. Let our arms relax. Let your hands tap you on your back. And bring your arms up a little higher. Good for the spine. And bringing the arms back down. All the way down. Good. And then letting that go. Coming back to the center. We'll do a little bit of our half sun salutation for the students who are regulars, and if you're not familiar with the half sun salutation, just do what you can and see what happens, okay? We're starting in Tadasana, hands at the heart center. We inhale and reach up and press the pelvis forward. Exhale, down into a forward bend, extending the exhalation. Inhale up part way, keep your hands wide, keep your belly on the tops of your legs, lift your pelvis into a dog tilt, and lift your chest and head. Exhale, back down for another forward bend, lengthening out through the top of the head. And when we come up, we want to come up with a straight back. So bend your knees, arms out to the sides, lift your tailbone, your sternum, and inhale, coming up, pressing the pelvis forward again. Exhale, hands to the heart center. That was one half sun salutation. We'll do a few more. Inhale, reaching up. Press the pelvis forward. Exhale. For beginners, we bend the knees, we dog tilt, and then the spine stays straight as you go forward into your forward bend. This is a wonderful way to stretch your hamstrings, the muscles at the backs of the upper legs. Inhale up part way. Lift the chest, the head, and the tailbone. Exhale, back down for another forward bend. Soften the knees, arms out to the sides. Inhale, coming up, pressing the pelvis forward. And exhale, back to the heart center. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. There's a pause at the end of the inhalation. For more intermediate students, you keep your legs straight, but your back is straight as well as you exhale down into the forward bend. Inhale up part way. Exhale down. Coming up with a straight back. Intermediate students will keep their legs straight as you come up. Press the pelvis forward. And exhale back to the heart center. Last time. And we're guided by the breath. The breath is first, so there's an inhalation, and then you move. There's a pause at the end of the inhalation when the exhalation starts, then you move into the forward bend, extending the exhalation. Inhale up part way, and exhale down. Soften the knees, come up with a nice straight spine, pressing the pelvis forward, and exhale back to the heart center. Bring your arms to your sides and keep your eyes closed for a few moments and notice how you feel. Now we'll do a balance. We need to do a balance in each yoga practice. So we start in Tadasana. We shift our weight onto the leg we want to stand on, taking the other foot off the floor. If you're new to this, keep the foot near the floor. If you'd like something more challenging, we bring the knee up to the level of the hip, or we can interlace the hands and bring the knee up nice and high. I'll do that again. Keep your shoulders relaxed, focus on your breath and that imaginary string pulling you up from the top of your head. When you come out of the balance, come out with control and land on both feet, shifting the weight onto the other leg, engaging your core, taking the foot off the floor so you can stay here. This is your balance. You don't have to bring the knee to the chest. Everybody is different. Everybody has different levels in yoga. Keep your shoulders relaxed, focused on your breath. You're nice and tall. Concentrate. You can find a spot on the floor to concentrate on for balance and letting go. We'll also do our tree pose, starting in Tadasana, shifting the weight onto the leg you're going to stand on, turning the other foot to the side, bringing the toe to the floor, the heel to the inside of the leg, and then bringing that foot to the lower leg. The knee is out to the side. There's many different hand positions. It can be the heart center, out to the side, any different level with the hands or the heart center. And for those of you more advanced, you can bring the foot above the knee. Grab the foot, bring it above the knee at the inside of the leg, and we press the standing leg into the foot. Again, focusing on the breath. It's not always easy to balance on command. Following the breath in and following the breath out. Okay, try the other side. So first, balance on both feet, shifting the weight, engaging the core, turning the foot to the side, toe to the floor, heel to the inside of the leg, and when you're ready, the foot comes off the floor to the lower leg. Being aware of the breath, finding something to gaze at for concentration. Or the foot above the knee. Press the standing leg into the foot. Your tree, strong and tall, with roots rooting down into the earth. Good. Balance is very important, so please practice your balance. And now we'll get ready to sit down again, go onto the floor, onto our backs. And now we're on the floor and we're going to go onto our backs. From this position we can use our core by slowly lowering ourselves to the floor. So get comfortable, bring your feet underneath your knees and bring your feet in line, the heels of your feet in line with your sit bones. Those are the bones in the pelvis. So we're going to bring the left knee to the chest, bringing the knee towards the chest, just gently relaxing, and keep your shoulders relaxed. And try not to have your chin jutting up to the ceiling. We want the head to be level. This is good for your lower back and your pelvis. If you like, you can slide the other foot down the mat, straightening it by flexing the foot, pulling the toes towards the face. Focusing on the breath, inhaling into the belly, exhale, the belly empties. Slowly bringing the left foot to the floor, and we'll bring the right knee to the chest. Interlace the hands around the knee. You can stay here with the other leg bent, or you can slide that foot down the mat, straightening the leg, flexing the foot, keeping the shoulders relaxed, keeping the head in a neutral position. See what you feel, or feel what you feel, and notice how your body is responding. And then we'll bring both knees to the chest. Interlace your hands. Pull the knees towards your chest. Slowly rock from side to side, massaging your lower back. Remember, if there's any pain, then stop. Coming back to the center, we're going to straighten our legs up towards the ceiling. The arms can be down beside you. And flex your feet, pull your toes down towards your face. We're going to inhale and open the legs. Exhale, bring them back together. Inhale, nice and slow and mindful. Exhale, bring them back together. 2 more times. Inhale, opening up. And exhale. 1 more time. Good. And bringing the knees to the chest. Another good movement for the hip sockets. Put your hands on top of your kneecaps and then roll the knees away from each other in one direction in a circle. Notice what you're feeling, and then go in the opposite direction. And then back to the center. Good. Slowly bringing the feet to the floor. Now here's a nice movement for the shoulders. If we extend our arms up to the ceiling, palms facing each other, but keep your shoulder blades on the floor. You don't want to reach up. We're going to bend the elbows and hold on to the forearms. We inhale here, and as we exhale, we take the elbow over towards the floor. The left elbow to the left side. And if your head wants to turn, you can let the head turn. And just notice the stretch in the right shoulder and shoulder blade. When you want, you inhale back to neutral, and exhale, take the elbows, the right elbow over towards the floor on the right. Noticing what's going on in the left shoulder and left shoulder blade. Inhale up. So a lot of people make the mistake of taking the arms up here. So make sure that the elbow is in line with your shoulder. And so you can continue with this and just find out how your shoulders are responding. Is it really tight for you, or is it quite easy? This can help a lot of tight shoulder areas and shoulder issues. Inhale up and exhale. Also notice which side is tighter than the other. Now if you want to add something here, we're going to add the legs. We're going to bring the feet together and the legs together and walk the feet towards the bottom. I'm going to take my elbows to the right so you can see what I'm doing with my legs. We inhale here, exhale, take the elbows over to the right, and then let the knees drop over to the left. So don't strain your neck, let your head follow the elbows if you like. And try to relax and breathe. It's not very comfortable, but it gives you a good twist in your spine and in your hips and your shoulders. We inhale and bring everything back to neutral. We exhale, we take the arms first over to the side and then the knees to the opposite side. Try to relax and breathe. Inhale into the belly, exhale, the belly empties. Inhale, coming back. So it's your choice. You can do the arms alone, or you can add the knees. Bring the arms down. So there's a very popular hip stretch that I'll show you. Again, we need to always come back to checking that the heels of the feet are in line with the sit bones and the heels are beneath the knees. And we take our hands, the fingers, and find our frontal hip bones. These are the pelvic bones in the front. And we want them to be side by side rather than out of alignment. We'll take the right foot off the floor and flex it, and put the outside of the right foot on top of the left thigh like this. So what you'll notice in the pelvis, sometimes this twisting goes on and the pelvis goes out of alignment. So you want to bring it back into alignment so those two hip bones are side by side. So you could stop here, or you could lift the foot off the floor and bring the legs towards the chest. You'll feel a stretch in your right pelvis, right side of your pelvis. Now if you still want to advance, take the right hand through the hole, lift your back off the floor and interlace your hands behind the back of the left thigh, and then lower your back and head to the floor. For many people this is enough, but for those of you who are more flexible, you can put your hands around the outside of that leg. So you find your position and you relax and breathe and stay in it only as long as you're comfortable. And for some of you it might not be very long, and that's okay. You do more poses, more stretches. Release the hands, slowly bring the foot to the floor. You can stretch out this leg and bring the foot to the floor. Take a moment to feel the difference between the two sides. So now we'll do the left side. We'll take the left foot off the floor, flex it, outside of the left foot on top of the right thigh, monitoring the frontal hip bones. Lifting the foot off the floor, bringing the legs towards the chest. You can stay here or take the left hand through the hole, interlace the hands behind the back of the thigh. Try to keep your shoulders down and relaxed. If you're struggling with your shoulders, then you're probably doing too much and you should take the arms out of it. So if you're like this, then you're doing too much. Bring the hands to the floor. So it depends on your body type and your hips. If you're flexible or if you're quite tight, you find your position, your posture. And slowly coming down. And notice how that feels. So you can do that movement 3 or 4 times on each side, and you'll get a wonderful stretch in the hips. Now we'll do some twisting. We'll bring the feet towards the bottom. We'll bring the feet together and the legs together. The arms can be out just comfortably at the side. And then we'll take the knees over to the floor on one side. Notice how my legs are together and my feet are together. I've glued my feet together so the right foot is on top of the left foot when you twist to the left. You can look up to the ceiling or you can turn your head to the right. And then we inhale, bring the knees back to the center. And then we can walk our feet towards our bottom, feet and legs tight together. Exhale, take the knees to the right. The left foot comes off the floor and it's stuck to the right foot. And also flex your feet. So rather than pointing them, you push through the heels and flex them. This is a nice twist for the entire spine. You can relax and breathe. Stay as long as you like, and inhale coming back to the center. And you could do that twist several times. Now we're going to bring the knees up to the chest. This is a little more challenging, but it's very healthy for you. We bring the arms out more at shoulder height, and we try to keep our knees tucked up nice and high. We don't want the knees to fall away. Then we're going to take the knees over to the floor. Some of you will be able to rest the legs on the floor. If you find it's too far away, you can put a pillow or a block under the knees. And if you find your legs are apart, you could put a pillow or a block between your legs. You want both of your shoulder blades to be on the floor. And if they're not, you could put a pillow under the shoulder blade. You can look up to the ceiling or turn your head to the right. Relax and breathe. This is wonderful for your digestive system and for your spine and your pelvis. We'll inhale using our core muscles to come back up. Try not to use your back muscles, but engage your core to bring your knees back to the center. And pause for a moment. And then exhale, take the knees over to the other side. Relaxing both shoulder blades on the floor. Your feet are flexed. You're relaxing and focusing on the breath so that you stay present and notice how the body feels. Inhale coming up. Let's bring the hands to the kneecaps and let's make a big circle with our knees, our legs, our pelvis. So I'm keeping the legs fairly close together, the feet together, and I'm circling, rolling onto one side of the pelvis and then the other. And let's reverse that direction. Be aware of the breath. And coming back to the center. So one last movement before we do our Shavasana. Let's bring our hands behind our legs. You can either put your hands on your thighs or interlace them. Let your lower legs relax. Now, if this doesn't feel good, then don't do it. It depends on the health of your spine and your back. But it's a wonderful way to calm your nervous system. And the beginners could start to roll on your back, just on your torso, just gently massaging your back. And for those of you more advanced, you can come all the way up with an inhalation and then exhale back. Inhale up and exhale. And while you're doing this, make sure your head stays straight, that you don't turn it to the side. So inhale and exhale. You can start to let your legs straighten behind you. One more time. And then we come back. Taking a moment just to notice how that felt. And then we'll get ready for Shavasana. We'll bring the soles of our feet together, let our knees open up. We'll bring our arms down beside us, palms face up. So the arms are close to the body but not touching. And then we'll slide one foot down the mat and the other foot down the mat. Just come on my mat a little bit more. So if you're uncomfortable, if your lower back is uncomfortable, you can place a rolled up yoga mat under your knees or a blanket under your knees, and that will bend your knees a little bit more and reduce the curve in your back. We adjust the level of our head so that we're not lifting our chin or lowering it too much. And we close our eyes. Bring our mind and awareness to that space below the nostrils, above the upper lip, where the breath falls into the nostrils and falls out of the nostrils. Make any adjustments you need to be comfortable, and then come back to the breath. The moment your mind wanders, bring it back to the nostrils, back to the breath, back to where you are right now, here, in this moment. Just keep bringing your mind back to the breath. Witness and observe the breath as it falls into the nostrils and falls out of the nostrils. I'll guide you through a gentle relaxation. You don't have to do anything. Bring our mind and awareness down to the feet. We don't have to move the feet, just feel them. Feel them from inside. Feel the tops of the feet and the bottoms of the feet. Feel your toes, your ankles, your heels. And send that message from the brain to the feet. To relax. Relax and let go. And then feel your lower legs, your knees and your upper legs. Getting a sense of the fronts of the legs and the backs of the legs and the sides of the legs. And send the message from the brain to the legs to relax. And imagine the legs sinking down, letting go. Now bring your awareness to the pelvis, the hips, the buttocks, and your lower back. There's the front of the pelvis, the back, the sides. Your lower back is very close to the pelvis. And send the message from the brain to this area to relax and release and gravitate downward. And in your mind, you're visualizing that this is happening. And bringing your mind and awareness to the upper chest and upper back and shoulders. Feeling this area. And sending the message from the brain to the shoulders and the upper back to sink down, let go, gravitate downward. And then feel your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms and your hands. Feel them. And as you send the message from the brain to the arms and the hands to relax, you feel the arms sinking down and the hands relaxing. Now bring your awareness to the heaviness of your head, the softness of your face, and create a tiny little space between your lips to relax the muscles of your mouth. You're still breathing through the nostrils. And feel the corners of the mouth gravitate downward towards the floor. And feel your eyes relaxing in their sockets. Nothing to focus on right now. Your eyes are relaxed. And feel your forehead relax from the center to the sides. And then the very top of the head, the crown of the head, imagine this area relaxing. Keep bringing your awareness, your mind back to the nostrils, back to the breath, witnessing and observing the breath. And take a moment to really experience this deeper connection that you're having right now with yourself, with no distractions. We'll start to slowly move the toes, move the fingers, and ever so gently roll the head from side to side. And then slide the arms along the floor until they're up over your head. Bring your legs a little closer together. Inhale, nice big stretch. Exhale out through the open mouth. One more time, big stretch out through the feet and out through the hands, and a big exhalation. Bend the knees, bring the arms down, hug the knees to the chest, gently roll from side to side. And then we'll roll over onto the right side into the fetal position and stay there for 2 breaths. And when you're ready to come up, use your left hand, press it into the floor in front of you, and push yourself up. Keep your eyes closed, keep your back rounded, and come back to a seated posture on your mat. Try to keep your eyes closed and stay connected, stay present. Finding your breath, finding your sit bones, relaxing your shoulders, following the breath in and following the breath out. We'll bring the hands into the prayer position. Bring your thumbs towards your breastbone. Lower your head down towards your hands, giving yourself a thank you for taking the time to do yoga today. Namaste. When you're ready, you can raise your head and open your eyes. And thank you all for joining me. Namaste.